What's up, everybody? It's Will, and this is Willpower Astrology. And right now, I'm going to be talking about upcoming transit of Venus retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. So this is kind of our next thing that it's going to take a couple of months to kind of go all the way through. So wherever Capricorn is at, specifically the degrees of 11 to 26 degrees of Capricorn, this next couple of months, Venus is going to be spending a lot of time at that area of the sky and that area of your chart. So let's just jump into it. So we've got the new moon in Scorpio going on right now. Um, Mars just shifted into Scorpio. Mercury just shifted into Scorpio. Venus just went into Capricorn. Something else just went into Capricorn. Something else. Great. Whatever. We've got the full moon in Taurus. I already talked about that. The day before the full moon, so on November 18th, we're going to start this long transit of Venus retrograde. Venus goes retrograde less often than Mercury, but it's like a little over a year. So the last time Venus was retrograde was May of 2020 of last year in the sign of Gemini, when the North Node was also in Gemini. So last spring, May 13th to June 25th was the last Venus retrograde. So last spring, we were getting into this soft reopen here in Utah. There was all this miscommunication, like lack of information type of shit going on in Gemini stuff. So anyway, Venus retrograde in Capricorn. On November 18th, we're going to enter the shadow. So Venus is going to pass over 11 degrees of Capricorn for the first time. So it's on this month, November 18th. And then right after that is going to be the full moon. So we're going to be into this changing times, like from now until like March. So get into this timeline. So November 18th, we enter the shadow zone, 11 degrees of Capricorn. Then the retrograde starts at 26 degrees Capricorn on December 19th. So then Venus will be retrograde all the way through January till January 29th, at which point it'll station direct, and then it's going to move through the shadow zone again, and it'll exit the shadow zone on March 12th. So we've got a couple of months of this transit going on. So Venus is the divine archetypal feminine in the chart. It's where we hold our aesthetic sense of beauty and value, and it's where we draw things to us in our chart. It's where we go, this stuff is mine, thank you, and maybe I'll share that with you. And it's relational, and it gives grace. It's one of the benefics in the chart. So wherever Venus is, it kind of is a soft cushion for this energy. So talking about Venus retrograde, there's this phase astronomically where she kind of goes underground for a while. So usually Venus, we think of her in the evening sky at sunset, but she's going to go underground. She's going to go retrograde, and she's going to go through, and then she's going to be the morning star for a while. So in her morning star phase, this is her in her warlike state. Venus is always like, the clamshell, but she was the goddess that could take down the god of war, Aries. You know what I mean? So when she's in her warlike state, when she's the morning star, this is Christianity. This is Lucifer, right? This is it's Inanna, it's Ishtar, it's the Persephone myth, going to the underworld and then rising back up again. You have to go down and confront all these dark energies. So when she's in her wrathful state, Venus, it's like we're clearing house. I don't know how to say it. We're clearing house. We're clearing the way. It's just like Mercury retrograde. We're making different appraisals or reevaluations when it comes to the way that we think, when it comes to the way that we communicate. Venus comes to the way that we are valuing or appraising either ourselves or our environment. So this appraisal in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is the third earth sign. So the first earth sign is Taurus. It's like, I made this thing, I made a brick. And then the second earth sign is Virgo. This is how I made this thing. This is my process, and this is how I get those bricks out and get them distributed. So the third earth sign of Capricorn is, this is why I'm making these bricks, and this is why I'm stacking them. It's to build my castle. It's to build a moat. It's to build my legacy. So wherever Capricorn is at in our chart, we're looking at long-term results. We're looking at our kind of overall life career arc. We're looking at our reputation. We're looking at who we are kind of in public. It's our life kind of on a stage. And some astrologers say it's who we are, like on our Facebook or social media profiles. It's kind of who we represent ourselves to be out in the world. And because of Capricorn's alignment with the 10th house of public life, wherever like all this stuff is going to collectively affect everybody. It's personal, but it's also going to affect us on a social level. So after this last year of everybody quitting their jobs and the great resignation and the economy and them kind of, we're not raising wages, we're keeping skeleton crews because it was discovered that we could run skeleton crews and make more profit, and that's how they're still running it. And then they're saying nobody wants to work anymore, and we're hiring but nobody wants to work, and then just offering low wages. Like, it's this whole thing. So we've had this whole crazy year. We just had Mercury retrograde in Libra. We're having strikes happening across the country. All of this stuff is going to start being felt, I think, during this time period of Venus retrograde in Capricorn. It's going to be felt on a public level. It's going to be bringing these things to the public. What is the value? How is that value being shared to the people? All this type of gig. You know what I mean? I think that supply chain, it's going to be Christmas while this happens. It's like supply chain. I think that we're going to be experiencing shortages maybe. Maybe more quittings, more strikings. It's going to be intensifying. You know what I mean? And I think on a personal level, everybody that's gone and made these big changes in their life, now who am I in public? Who am I when I take myself out there? You know what I mean? I'm kind of experiencing this myself. Like, I used to be an artist, and now who am I? Now I'm doing this. Like, I don't know what. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's just it's going to be reevaluating who we are in public on a personal level, but it's also like jobs, strikes, all this other crazy shit that's happening. It's like, what is the value? Where's the worth? You know what I mean? What's the legacy? There's going to be all this type of stuff. And I think because there's all this other stuff that's going on, I don't have enough time to talk about it all right now. All this other stuff that's going on during Venus retrograde, the North Node's going to shift. Jupiter's going to shift into Pisces. All this other, like, this winter's going to be really crazy. And this Venus retrograde, I think, is going to kind of encapsulate it. So from December 19th to January 29th, I just think, expect the unexpected. It could be shortages. It could be strikes. It could be you changing a job. It could be getting fired. It could be like all this type of stuff about work, public life, aspirations, life goals. I think a lot of people are kind of changing their ideas about what's important or where they're headed or their overall trajectory. And I think that this period of time, this Venus retrograde, is going to really highlight that and bring that out. Check it out in your chart. Bam.